Welcome to our channel. I'm Dr. JP Singh and topic for today's discussion is inquest, and especially we'll discuss at the end exhumation. As it is a tradition on our channel that we move ahead with some news. So the news for today is the Supreme Court it stays exhumation of bodies of tribal Christians for burial elsewhere. So here the thing important is the exhumation is stopped by Supreme Court, right? It was exhumation of some Christian bodies from a village where they were planning to exhume the body and again put the body in the ground at some different place. So this process was stopped by Supreme Court. So what is exhumation? We'll go ahead and discuss this thing. Before that, we should discuss the inquest. So what is inquest? It is very important topic because all autopsies they start with inquest. Inquest is an inquiry or investigation. It can be inquiry or investigation into the cause of death, and the death is not natural. Not natural, right? So in all cases where the death is supposed not to be natural, the police do the inquest or inquiry or investigation. And what are the different types of inquest throughout the world? There are mainly 5 types. First is police inquest, second magistrate inquest, third coroner's inquest, then medical examiner system, and last is procurator fiscal. Out of these first two, first and second, we practice these in type of inquest in our country, right? So what is police inquest and how the police proceeds on inquest? It is under section 174 CRPC, and nowadays it is section 194 BNSS. So the officer in charge who conducts the police inquest, he should not be below the rank of head constable, but generally he should be sub inspector. He should be sub inspector, but due to their busy schedule or non-availability, a individual of the rank of head constable, he can initiate inquest, and he is known as the investigating officer in that case, right? So by police inquest, we try to find out the answers for these 4 questions. Which all are the questions? First is identity of the body. Who is the person? Do he belong to the same place, or he was living here, or he was a traveler, or he visited that place? The identity, the age, name, race, all these things they have to be identified in the deceased. Then the place of death. By saying place of death, the body was actually at this place, or it has been brought to this place, or it was belonging to some other place and dumped at this place. It becomes more important if we recover body from a water source, right, like river or canal. So in such cases, the body generally is dumped in the water source and it comes to some other place. And the third question is time of death. It is very important to determine the time of death, since the changes seen in the body, they are time dependent and environment dependent. So we can very well assess the time of death looking at the changes taking place in the body. And the last but not least important is apparent mode of death. The death was due to accident or suicide or homicide. Out of these, what is the mode of death? Or it's a natural cause. That death is natural. So under section 175 CRPC, nowadays it is section 195 BNSS. The police person who is called the IO in this case, he moved to the place of the incident, and there after informing the executive magistrate. On receiving the information that a dead body is lying at such a place, the police person, IO of the case, he informs the executive magistrate and moves to the place of incident, and moving out after going to that place in the presence of two respectable inhabitants. Generally, these are the individuals, two or more than two respectable inhabitants of that area, those who reside in that place, and those individuals who can be found later or who are available later when they call for further investigation. These are the individuals they are asked the they are asked about the case. Who has seen the case? Do the individual belong to same place? He was known to someone or he is unknown to that area? All these questions they are asked from these individuals, and the police person he prepares a report which is called the Panchnama in this case. And these individuals, either two or more than two, who are giving the information, they are called as Panchas. They are called as Panchas in the case, and the report is called the Panchnama. After going through the case and the information given by these panchas, if there is no suspicion of any foul play in the death of the individual, the body is handed over to the relatives. And opposite to that, if there is any foul play, if there is any suspicion of foul play or there is any allegation in the death of the deceased, then the body is sent to the postmortem with inquest papers and the requisition for the post-mortem examination. Inquest papers, these are all the papers and the statement taken by the police person and handed over to the autopsy surgeon to conduct the autopsy. So, in case while doing the autopsy surgeon, before conducting the autopsy, he goes through the inquest paper, so that these papers are sort of history. In the live patients, we have history of the patient, which the patient says the signs and symptoms. These inquest papers, they are the information given by the police to the autopsy surgeon about the individual, where he was found, and the statement given by panchas and the near and dears of the individual. These inquest papers, along with the requisition form, they are given to the autopsy surgeon, and before before conducting the autopsy surgeon takes a survey of the body and just tries to find out the correlation between the inquest paper and the findings on the body. In case there is any discrepancy between the postmortem report and the inquest paper, so which is superior? The findings of postmortem report by the autopsy surgeon, they are superior to the information given by the IO. So the findings of the doctor, they are final, almost final, and they are taken as the last findings on the body in the court. After the postmortem is done by the surgeon, these papers, all inquest papers with report, they are submitted to the executive magistrate by the IO, from where the thing started. The police person or the IO, it took permission from the executive magistrate after informing, completed the inquest papers, submitted the inquest paper and requisition form to the autopsy surgeon. Autopsy done with the report, they are going back to executive magistrate. And the IO who has conducted the Panchnama and contacted the Panchas, he may summon, on finding that something is more is required, he may summon the individuals from whom he has taken the statement to appear to know the facts. If something else is required to know from them, he may summon them and ask them to attend and answer the question put to them. It is very necessary for the individuals to come to the police station to answer the question put by the IO. Otherwise, the refusal may lead to punishment under section 179 or 214 BNS, which is 6 months of imprisonment or 5,000 fine. This call by IO is under section 175 CRPC. Now, second type of inquest is magistrate inquest. It is superior to police inquest. It is under section 176 CRPC or 196 BNSS. So, the magistrate, which is in this case is either DM or SDM of that area or executive magistrate or tehsildar, and if none of these are available, a judicial magistrate may conduct a magisterial inquest in the cases. So, which all cases are there for magistrate inquest? First and very important is dowry death. It is a death of the female after the marriage, and if it is alleged that death has been the the death of the individual is because of some demand or some pressure by the in-laws, it is dowry death. And in cases death of the female within 7 years of marriage, or where she commits either suicide, it is very important. If she commits suicide and if it is alleged that suicide is suspicious, or she dies in questionable circumstances, or any relative of the female, she makes a request, he or she makes a request, or any doubt. So everything is by suspicion. Suspicion. Everything lies on the suspicion on the death of the female within 7 years of marriage. There we conduct magistrate inquest. Exhumation is another thing. First is dowry death, second is within 7 years, third is exhumation, and this we'll discuss later in detail. And last is any person, any individual male or female who dies or disappears, or the rape is alleged to have been committed on the female when she or such a person is in the custody of police or a person appointed by the court. That means when they are under custody or under observation, like it may be into juvenile home, death of a person or a candidate in the juvenile home, or in the mental hospitals, or in rehab centers, or hostels, or in jail. Any death in all such cases, they are under magistrate inquest. And the important thing here is, in all types of inquest, the magistrate may conduct a separate inquest, or it may start inquest in addition to police. So in any case where the magistrate thinks the inquest or investigation is impartial or partial by the police, he may start his own inquest. Another important thing is the death in police custody. It was initially in magistrate inquest, list of magistrate inquest, but from an amendment in CRPC in 2005, it has been removed from the list of magistrate inquest, right? Next is coroner's inquest. First two inquest, police inquest and magistrate inquest, they are practiced in India, and henceforth this coroner's inquest not practiced in India. It is who is the coroner? Coroner is an advocate, attorney, or first class magistrate with 5 years of experience, or a metropolitan magistrate. That means they have knowledge of law. They act as coroner. They have semi-judicial powers, and they powers resemble those of a court of law, and can inquire all suspicious death. They can inquire all suspicious death, so that they have the powers of a judicial magistrate, right? And they are appointed by the government to inquire into cases of unnatural or suspicious death, and it is not practiced. It is not practiced in India, but it is practiced in UK, New Zealand, Canada, and some other states, right? Next is medical examiner system. It is the type of inquest conducted in most states of USA. In UK, they are following coroner's inquest. In USA, they are following medical examiner system. And Japan and some states of Canada, but not in India since 1999, July 99. It started in Kolkata in some 1902, and the last stage was done by this sort of inquest was done in India in 1999 in Bombay. Since then it has been discontinued. The medical examiner, it is appointed by the government to perform the function of a coroner. And what the medical examiner do? He visits the scene of crime first, gathers the information second, and if required, he performs the autopsy. That means he himself is doing most of the jobs. He visits the scene of crime, gathers the information, and performs the autopsy. And since single party, only doctor is doing everything, he has got every information in his hand, the report is more likely to be in consistency with the findings on the body, because information, scene of crime, body autopsy, everything is done by the doctor. The report is supposed to be more consistent and correlate finding on the autopsy with evidence to determine the cause and nature of death of the individual. Hence, this report is superior to coroner and police inquest. This report is superior to coroner and police inquest. Last is procurator fiscal. It is the least common type of inquest followed throughout the world. He is a public prosecutor in Scotland and has the power in the investigation of criminal matters. He or she inquires into sudden, suspicious or unexplained deaths, including the fatal accidents. Almost like India, where we are conducting inquest in all unnatural cases of death, and he can request an autopsy to be performed by a specialist, right? He is generally performing a duty of civil civil judge, and he is asking for a autopsy to be performed by the specialist and present the case of prosecution in court. So what are the four types of? First is police, second is magistrate, then medical examiner, then procurator fiscal and coroners. So it is these two are done in India till here. Police and magistrate, they are done in India, not medical examiner, then procurator fiscal and coroner's inquest. Now the last topic for today, the exhumation. Last topic for today is exhumation. What is exhumation? It is digging out of a legally buried body from a grave. The important thing is legally buried. And who gives the permission for this? It is by the executive magistrate. Executive magistrate gives the permission for exhumation of the body, and when there is some suspicion or when there is a thought that we may find new facts after exhumation and second autopsy of the body, it is generally the exhumation of the body is done, and there is no time limit. There is no time limit in India. This is very important line because in PGs you receive various MCQs. What is the time limit for exhumation in India? There is no time limit for exhumation in India, and it is done in both civil cases and criminal cases. The list for civil cases include homicide, suspected homicide disguised as suicide, poisoning, criminal abortion, very important, criminal abortion, and criminal negligence by doctors. If it is alleged and the body has been placed in the ground, and then exhumation can be done to rule out criminal negligence, and in civil cases in accidental death claims or insurance workman's compensation claim when the family is alleging that the claim what they are getting is not as per the injuries or the damage caused to them, then exhumation can be done and the body is taken out and examined again. And disputed identity, other cases is disputed identity or inheritance. In such cases, exhumation is done. The authority, as already said, executive magistrate under section 176 CRPC. Correct? Next is when it should be done. What are the prerequisites for it? First and foremost, after sunrise and before sunset. Before sunset. That means totally in natural light. Who all are required? Doctor, magistrate, police, and relatives. These four parties are required, and on the permission of magistrate, under the supervision of doctor, in the presence of police and the relatives. Before starting the exhumation, we should identify the grave site, positively identify the grave site, and the burial. When undigging, when we are trying to take out the body, it is done at a rate of some 15 centimeters at one time, uncovered at around 10 to 15 centimeter at one time, and we try to find out the soil condition, the water content, and the vegetation around the body. Why these are important? Because they direct or they are the influencers for the putrefaction or the changes in the body after death. When the body is buried, these are responsible: soil condition, water content, and vegetation. The body should be identified when we have reached. While digging or taking out the body should be identified by the relatives and the friends. On identification, measure the depth till where it has been placed in the ground, from the surface to skull and from surface to feet. At times, if it is placed in the graveyard by some illegal person, it may be not horizontal or in some position, so the decomposition changes at this place and at this place they are different, because there is difference in the depth in these two places. At these two places there is difference in the depth, hence the vegetation or the insects or the water content it is different. So the body should be identified and the position should be marked that it is in such a position and the depth is measured. On exposure of the body, we should clean the body with soft brush or a whisk broom without applying much of the force, and it should be photographed. Very important, it should be photographed. And on complete exposure of body, when it is there, it should be photographed first, and a rough drawing should be drawn. A rough drawing should be marked with essential details of the body, which is in which condition it is found in the graveyard. In the absence of decomposition, when the body is fully exposed, if it is not decomposed completely, in the absence of decomposition, a plank, plastic or canvas sheet should be passed under the body and it should be placed on the body. The body should be placed on that sheet and shifted out. In case it is in stage of decomposition, all parts, all the conditions should be mentioned. All parts which are separated or dismembered, they should be placed in different boxes and numbered. The condition of burial clothes and the body should be mentioned in your report when you are noticing the body completely. The sample of the soil, in case the sample of the soil should be taken for further reporting, in case even it is very important if some mineral poisoning is suspected. Even if it is not suspected, we should preserve the sample of the soil because it may help us in mentioning or determining the decomposition changes in the body. So sample of the soil should be sealed, and all personal, when the body has already been taken out, what is lying below, it should be collected. The hair, nail, clothing and anything else which is related to the body should be collected, sealed and examined further. Very important is disinfectant, they should not be used on the body. As in all cases of autopsy, no disinfectant is used because they may change the appearance of the body and alter the findings of the autopsy. And the last line, on the autopsy table, when the body is there on the autopsy table, we should first identify the artifacts, because the body is coming from the ground. It may have artifacts while handling the body or while the body is transferred from the grave to the table. So these should be identified, and the viscera, if it is there or the body is not decomposed, viscera if it is there in the body, it should be preserved for chemical analysis, and the report should be made only after receipt of final report. Final opinion should be given after receipt of chemical viscera. That is all from my side. If you have any doubts in today's lecture, please write in the comment box. Please subscribe and like the channel. Thank you.